What's today's date?
We're recording. Hi.
Hi. Today is October 18th, 2020. I am Erica. This is Nicole. We have started this since the beginning of the quote unquote lockdown COVID situation. Nicole is in Madrid. I am in Brooklyn, New York. Madrid, Spain.
As opposed to, I think there is one in Ohio or something weird. There is. As opposed to Ohio. Here we are, both.
Last week we celebrated Alex's birthday. Today is my sister's birthday.
Oh, okay.
Toast my iced coffee to my sister Rachel, wherever she is.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're both enjoying fall weather with our gray hoodies.
With our gray sweatshirts.
I love this weather. I love this time of year. I was going to tell you, well, first of all, from what it sounds like, what you were saying before we started recording, you're home alone today. In not in terms of Macaulay Culkin, but you are in the house by yourself.
I kind of feel like that though, because
you're waiting for intruders.
No, I kind of feel like a kid a little bit. I think that Ronnie and I have been attached at the hip since April or February. I don't even know.
March, yeah.
I mean, we really have not been apart for more than a few hours. I think that one day that I left to go do that job that my friend hired me to do, which was so much fun. I think that was like the longest amount of hours we were apart.
Yeah, it's rough. It honestly, no two people.
You need to miss somebody. You know what I mean?
But even forget about that type of any relationship, whatever kind of relationship it is, you just should not be that many hours with the same person.
Yeah, I think I'm driving him crazy.
I mean, you know me, because I have 2 kids, I'm like constantly with somebody. So I really cherish any private time I have. And it just made me think of something that you said to me a couple of months ago. Well, we're going back more than a couple of months ago. I was home, if you remember, home alone, not waiting for intruders, during New Year's, because I had a lot of work to do and I just did not want to go up north with a giant family gathering for days. That the idea of that bothered me. And I thought, you know what? I don't care. I'd rather be doing work in my house, take breaks, binge watch whatever I want, be by myself. It was fun. But I remember at the stroke of midnight, like you writing to me and going, this doesn't feel right. You shouldn't be spending New Year's by yourself, especially at the turn of like a decade. And I was like, whatever. You're like, no, it's bad luck. And here we are, 9-10 months later, the shittiest year possible. I wonder if that had something to do with it.
You know what I thought when because I'm remembering this, that they say that how you spend New Year's is how your year will be. But actually, that's not the case at all. You haven't been alone at all. You've been with your family nonstop. So it actually didn't come true, although it still was bad luck. And
you warned me, and I should have said, yeah, you're right. We could have a pandemic this year. I should have said that, but I didn't.
It's all your fault.
But yeah. And it's funny because this guy at work, speaking of being alone, I was just telling Eduardo this guy at work who's a little off. He's from, let's just say, the northwest of the US. And the guy he's like our age, a little older maybe. He lives alone.
Trying to say about the Northwest. The Midwest, is that what you're trying to say?
No, the Northwest. Like we're talking probably in the woods. He's from the wooded areas. So the guy is like, he lives alone. He doesn't have any friends really. Doesn't have a partner. He's just he's on his own pretty much.
Okay.
And he was telling me last week, yeah, this pandemic really did my head in. He's like, weeks and weeks of not talking to anyone. And as I'm talking to him, I'm just getting this little voice in my head going, yeah, he was a nice guy. I never suspected anything. Fast forward to the freezer, all the bodies that we find in his house. Like that's like the image I got. Like, he was really unraveling. Like,
I can't believe you're saying this, because I wrote down a couple of things that I observed yesterday, because we did a mini version of a stoop sale yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Kind of minimized, and not like, I wasn't trying to break my back because we have some like heavy things we were carrying in and out. We just kind of set up a little thing just yesterday, and there was this man walking down the street with his dogs, walking his dogs, and from him coming towards us, walking past us, and continuing down the street, he was whistling.
Mm-hmm.
He was whistling like a tune. And
a happy tune?
I don't know. There was some kind of melody going along with it, but he just was whistling and whistling and whistling. And Ronnie and I were talking, and we just stopped, because it was like, oh, this guy's whistling, and he just kept doing it. And we just looked at each other and said, he's a serial killer. I don't know who does something like that. Like,
yeah,
who just whistles like that?
Not for more than 5 seconds. It shouldn't happen.
It was like walking down the street, whistling
Yeah.
a tune while he was walking the dogs. And I said, he's going home, and there are bodies in the freezer.
He was composing the soundtrack to death. That's what I think he was doing. Just like
we looked at each other and watched, and it kept going and going. And I was like, and another observation that I made yesterday, there was this woman who came to buy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we summed it up that she was a walking Celino and Barnes ad, because she told us her life story, and it was like she hadn't talked to anybody in so long. She just kept diarrhea of the mouth, and everything in her life. Her child had autism. She had cancer and she survived. She,
you learned all this.
Oh my God! She told us every aspect of her life, and then she told us a story about how about Alex Trebek, and it didn't stop. It just went on and on and on. I know so much about this woman and all of the malpractice, how many times she's been married and divorced, and the people who have died in her life, and
oh my God, this is
lawsuits. And
how long was this conversation?
She ended up buying $26 worth of stuff, and it was probably 20 minutes. And Ronnie looked at me and he said, $26, would you do that again for 20 minutes?
Wow.
Go through that again? Because we both were like, I was glad that I had my mask on.
Yeah.
Because
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because I was losing my shit with this woman, and I was like losing it, and I was like, oh my God, like I can't.
These are the kind of people that you just dread if you have to sit on the plane next to, one of those types.
Right. Or like if you're on the clock working, like you're a waitress, and you get like a table or something, and you're like, oh, I'm being paid to listen to this, or you're like checking somebody out and they're a motor mouth or whatever. But she was unbelievable, and it was exhausting, but she did buy stuff at least. And that was what we kind of tried to sum it up. And he said, yeah, she was like a walking Celino and Barnes ad, because if anybody knows Celino and Barnes, that's a New York reference. It's a lawsuit firm with ads everywhere. She just like everything in her life was some kind of
tragedy.
Yeah, and had to call this organization and get them involved and do.
You have to wonder. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Does this person probably lives at home alone?
And then I said, Ronnie, we're gonna see her walking down the street. How fast are we gonna cut the other way?
Now you've got the radar at least. But you know, this woman probably has nobody and just poured herself, or she's one of those people that does this to everybody. Who knows?
I think so. But this is the reason to not get a dog, because you run into people on the street and then you got to talk to them. Because I think we will probably run into her on the street again.
I mean, and too much information. I watched last night. It's a good lead into what I was thinking about. Last night I watched this documentary called The Social Dilemma. Have you seen it? You did? Yeah, I mean, I guess we won't spoil it then, but you know, a lot of what they were talking about, for anyone who doesn't know, it basically talks about the big four companies and just what they do with big data and et cetera. A lot of this stuff I knew from just having taught. I teach a course that deals with 2 chapters just all about Amazon and Facebook and
Really?
Google. Yeah. So some of the stuff I knew, but other things it was just like, when that guy with, I won't say too much, but when that guy with the dreads said, "Oh, just delete all your accounts," I thought, I turned to Eduardo and I go, "You see, I did that and I feel good." And Erica always tells me I'm envious, but you know, you kind of have to use it for certain things. I guess that's why you.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got off the funny. I'll try to make it funny because I mean, it's been I think I don't know if it's our age or whatever, but yeah, the social experiment for me was very fun. And I'm not a technology person, but Ronnie probably being able to like upgrade my devices and stuff, I probably got more and more engaged in social media. I don't have Facebook app on my phone anymore, so I really don't go to Facebook, but I see now I'm getting emails like telling me that there's been activity on Facebook. I'm like, I don't need an email to tell me that somebody just posted. They're getting desperate with.
I thought they stopped doing that a long time ago. They stopped sending.
I'm starting to get these weird emails like so-and-so posted a photo, and I'm like, are you guys kidding with me? Like, I deleted the app. I have very little activity on there. I told you I had started, but then again, Instagram was a place where I met so many artists, and it's a very, for the art community, it's been so good. And then there's the bad part of it too. So the women's group that I started, there's a comedian, Amanda Seals, and she had started this, it's called FSB, Funny, Smart, and Black Society. I think, I hope I'm saying that right. And it's funny because I was like, wow, that's kind of what I started with my artist chat, female artists, just to kind of still connect with people who, you know, are maybe I met through social media or had, you know, and just talk instead of, and have like conversations instead of all of this, because that has just made us crazy, and we're not communicating anymore. And so this has been like a topic that we've talked about. You know, social media has just kind of ruined a lot of things that there's so many good things about it, and then there's just a lot of shitty things. I mean, Twitter is disgusting.
My takeaway from the whole thing was, and I kept saying this, pausing it and saying it throughout, I don't think that this is any revelation or anything different from any other time in history, in the sense, like, let's compare it to the TV. Okay, for all people who are like, TV ruins everything, TV's terrible. No, it's not. All these great inventions are like, they have so many positive things about them. It's the people that abuse it and ruin it. That's all it is. And it'll always be like that with any new thing that comes along. There'll be so many fantastic things about it. And then there'll be the dark side and the dicks that ruin it. But that's it. That sums up the life right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about like just history repeating itself. Angela Davis, this what's going on, this like response to Black Lives Matter. Like, I'm just like, are you kidding with me? It's just, it feels like history repeating itself. And I think we're just going to have to wait, see what happens, which direction we're going. Because I don't feel like I can do much more than take care of myself and the people around me. And, I was a peer mediator in middle school and high school.
Not really? I never knew this.
You know that? And I was thinking a lot about peer mediation. I don't know, this is again, not too funny, but like this issue happened with these two artists. And I don't know, I thought maybe there was some good that I could do, that the world of graffiti was run by men, and there was a lot of there's a lot of immature stuff that happens, but it's a response of an urban environment, which also is like reflective of just like cultures and it's interesting, like a city does end up like developing its own culture, and the way the streets are in an urban jungle, we end up having like a real culture that has its good sides and bad sides, right? And for some reason I thought like, well, these women maybe we can be better and communicate better. So I was trying to like squash a beef between two women.
Oh, that must have
I
been
don't know. Oh,
in
also one other thing. That was my week. I was really trying to, and then Ronnie's just like, you're so idealist. And that's like probably my biggest, and maybe that's why we're so angry, Nicole, and we hate people so much, because like, we really think that like, can't people be better than they are? And it's probably just not possible.
Yeah, well, we set the bar too high, and obviously we're going to get disappointed every time. Is that what you mean?
Yes. I want to show you a picture. I don't know, maybe we should do this off. How is our time?
No, we're good. We have about 10 minutes.
Let's talk about a plant. I'm going to show you a plant. You want to show?
Oh, a plant. I thought you said a plan. I'm like, what plan?
Now I'm going to show you.
Okay.
I'll do a plant show and tell. I grabbed one because this one.
This is like this is becoming a segment here, like in the Welcome to the Jungle with Erica Stella.
Yes, my jungle is now in my house.
Nice. That actually doesn't even look real.
Look at that. Can you see the baby coming off that leaf? How it's like pulling off. See that little?
Yeah.
I'll point to it. Should I bring it even close? See how it's like, it's gonna like pull off of here, this one right here.
Yeah.
And it's gonna like pop off and then like be its own shit. Look at okay. So the cool thing about this is a philodendron Birkin. Wait, when I get it closer, can you see the little stripes on the leaves?
I can. Yeah, I like the name.
It's called a Birkin.
Which rhymes with gherkin and merkin, two things.
I know, you love that. I know. So I don't know if that's just like the name. It's not the like Latin name for it. But I was watching this video and this guy was talking about it. Like they really named it a Birkin because it's very trendy because of like the pretty leaves. And then they like went and named it like Birkin.
After a bag, yeah.
After a bag, right, after a very expensive bag. But I got this one in a very small little thing, and I think it was like $14. And I just put it in this new pot because it's really getting, isn't it cool? Ronnie isn't not into this one so much.
No, I like that one because those are the hardy ones. I like the hardy ones.
I just think this thing is so, and there's another guy coming out of the back. I moved it because actually it was back over here. And I wanted it to kind of fill out because I felt like it was all right. Anyway,
Well,
also,
they bring positivity to the house.
you ain't lying. Until like a kid comes and dumps rocks in your plant.
That's why he had to get a new one. God. Yeah, well.
And then this is the monstera right here off of my, and I won't bring it close, but there's like a new leaf, and I like when a new leaf starts coming, it is like the most exciting thing. And that's because I have to be happy about something. So, this was what this woman said, which then I was done. It was right at the end when she had already, once she had like purchased her what she was buying. At that point, I was like, all right, I'm done with you, because I was, you know what I mean? Like somebody's talking and talking and talking. You're like, oh my gosh, she's gonna buy something. I'm. Let's ride this out. I had already gotten her money, given her a bag. She was leaving, and Ronnie said maybe she felt guilty that she had talked so much. She said to me, oh, so how about you guys? You guys are like in your 30s, right? How's your health? She starts
What?
like, oh, you're right. Then she said,
You should have invented a story. Go ahead.
then she said, so do you have kids?
Oh, God.
And I said no. And then she started talking about, well, she wasn't well, I don't think, but she started talking about, well, that's okay, because I know a 30-year-old who doesn't have kids yet, and she's single, and she just, and I just stared at her like, I think I stared at her, and then I stared back at Ronnie, and I just didn't say anything. She just kept going. And I was like,
Yeah. There's so many things wrong with that. It's not even funny.
but we were already at the point of there already being so many things wrong that when she said that, I almost just went.
It fit in with the rest of the story. Motormouth Mabel.
Go figure.
And,
Go figure.
oh, she might be back next week to tell you about whatever it is she bought, whether it be a complaint or a compliment or just another anecdote.
No refunds, right?
Yeah, that's the kind of person you need to say, like, there's no, you don't bring that back. Too much information. Oh, God.
Yeah, that was a funny one. I have, I know that, okay, this is going to be a segment. I know we've done asshole. So we'll say that was the asshole. We're going to do another segment on this show. I have one, and I know you have one. Positive things that have come out of COVID.
Oh, okay.
Okay. My observation is that when you're walking down the street, or going for a walk or whatever, you really have to keep your head up and your posture straight, because you can't, like women or anybody, you like look down too much. You can't, because your mask's going to fall off. So I've been very aware of, I'm always aware of my posture this way, but I notice that I'm like looking down a lot, and you really can't, because your mask's going to fall.
I think I told you what happened when I did that first day of school this year in September, because I have a thick cloth type one, and I'm walking back from the subway, and I have my headphones on, and I look down like what you just said, and I usually don't do that, but I have my head down, and not for that reason that it's falling off, but it almost like gets in the way of my vision. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not. I'm being serious. If I look down, my perspective is like off now. Like I can't, because I'm seeing the mask and not only the ground. Whereas if I don't have a mask on, I just see the ground. I fell over like a fucking ton of bricks. I looked down and I went stumbling down the sidewalk. We can laugh now. Headphones flew off.
Oh no.
And the worst is I'm sitting there, and there's like a bunch of teenagers across the street just sitting there laughing at me. I'm like, oh, I've become the old lady that falls on the ground now and everyone points at.
They were pointing at you.
No, they weren't pointing, but they were laughing. So somebody walked by and tried to help me, and this is the world we live in now that you can't touch people. So she helps me like this, like trying to interlock my arm to help me up. Oh man, I came home, I had a bruise on my ass. Like I'm like,
Oh,
this is all from. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, the woman probably thinks I'm drunk. I'm like, yeah, I'm like half blind when I do that. Like I can't keep, I have to keep my head up, obviously.
do you remember Kevin Nealon's SNL bit Depth Perception Man?
I don't remember that. No,
Oh my
I
God,
I
it's
don't
so
remember that skit.
funny. Oh my God. Depth Perception Man. It was like it was the weirdest sketch, but like he would hit, it's just like you can imagine, like he'd like run into things because his depth
Yeah,
perception,
yeah,
or you like talking to somebody like this. Oh my God, it was so stupid.
So you
I think
you like
so
having
weird.
your head? You think that's a good thing that's come out of it, that you can keep your head up, or what's?
Listen, I personally have very good posture. Um, but I was thinking about it and I was thinking, well, like some people, like they look down all the time, either like self-confidence or whatever, or, people just look down. Like you kind of have to like keep your head up to like keep, I know, I think so. So I was just kind of thinking that was a positive thing. What's your positive thing that's come out of
I mean,
COVID,
I have
other
a
than
list.
not having to see family?
Yeah, I know, because I do have a list. A mental list. But I'll give you one. We'll do one each week, maybe. We'll just do that. Um, I know such a big part of it is not having to see people, which is also a negative point. You know what I mean? It goes either way with that one. I guess with the positive, well, I mean, it kind of goes along with your posture thing. I guess it's going to sound silly, but because of the fact that as a teacher, I have to carry a lot of books and a lot of things, and I often break my shoulder carrying stuff. I just decided to go. We're not really allowed to be carrying around things this year, like exchanging papers with students and things like that. So I'm totally paperless. And all I carry to work now is like my iPad, and I have all my things in there. Like, and I never have to think about where my stuff is. It's just all there. And I'm like, why wasn't I doing this before? I have a light bag because I'm short. And if I have something like hunching me over, it's not good.
Yeah, I hate it. People started wearing backpacks again because then you're not like carrying a purse and it's one-sided or whatever. And I just think backpacks, we talked about this when we were in Rome because I ended up buying that little
Yep.
mini backpack and I kind of thought, this just feels like I feel immature with a backpack on. But I do understand like that it's not,
Yeah.
your spine isn't going one way or another. So you feel freer now. You feel good, like you're
Yeah.
not hauling around heavy things.
Because I don't carry a backpack. I carry like a bag.
Look at this, and your youngest is 5. You're out of, you're not,
Yeah,
not that you don't pick up Alex anymore, but
not
not
really
too
though.
much.
No.
The spine is going to be healthy.
And you don't want me shrinking. I mean, you just don't.
Well, we know from yoga, healthy spine, healthy life,
That's right.
right?
Well,
It was funny. A friend of mine was telling me she was doing yoga. She's not very experienced with yoga. And she was telling me she was doing cat, cow. And she's like, but she really hurt herself when she was doing, she goes, I think it's called camel. And I was like, well, yeah, you
that's a
can't do camel. Like all of a sudden I'm like, cat, cow's fine. No camel. That's crazy. You have to be really warmed up.
yeah, because isn't that one of the end ones in Bikram? That's like, yeah. So you became an expert.
All of a sudden I mean, hey,
No.
I do know quite a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Did I freeze up for a second? I just froze
No.
up for a second. Oh, okay.
Well,
All
I
right.
like that. I like that segment, and you know what? It'll force us to see the light. We'll balance it out with file for asshole and a positive.
Yeah. Yeah. The assholes are still out there. We just have to figure out how to navigate around them. On that note, wear a mask.
Yes. And keep your eyes out for this woman. I mean, I would be, you might want to add sunglasses to the mask so that you can
Oh,
really.
I had my sunglasses on too, so she
Oh,
really didn't see my face.
good, good. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And she thought I was 30.
I was going to comment on it. I'm like, well, something good came out of it.
She goes, what are you guys in your 30s? And I go, yeah. And Ronnie we were just like we were saying like the minimum. And when she said 30, yes.
Or was that a ploy to just get you to keep talking? Because, like, let's warm these people up.
Yeah, she just wanted to stand there and talk all day. I mean, sometimes you want
Oh,
to,
you
and
shouldn't.
sometimes.
That was your opportunity to just tell a whole lie of a
Oh,
story.
Ronnie's going to watch this back and go, I could have repeated, because he wanted me to take notes about everything that she said. Well, I'll just say that, like, her autistic son got a phone call from Alex Trebek because she wrote to Alex Trebek, and it went on and on. Listen, if you really want to hear all about it, Ronnie will tell you the whole
I
story.
thought you were going to say that the Alex Trebek reference was because you said she had cancer. So I figured, like, she was going to say something about.
No, he called her because I can't remember the whole story, but basically, if you Google Alex Trebek, autistic, I think just autistic, his name is Mike, and he was on the news, and the news picked it up, and it was on like all of these different, she said, you have to Google it. It was 2 years ago oh my God. So she told us, like, are you gonna Google it later? And Ronnie's like, oh yeah, I'll look it up. And she played the voice recording for Ronnie, like it
Oh
was,
my God, this is really.
and how, she survived cancer, so she knows that Alex Trebek is gonna survive cancer, and she told him that, and see, he's still alive. And I was like, and then she was telling me about God. And then I said, oh, wait, this is the best part, because Ronnie almost got up and walked away. He was going to walk away from me and leave me there by myself. And I said, don't you dare. Because she was talking about God and how, well, God will cure cancer. And I said, science works too. And Ronnie just like, don't you start.
Oh God. Oh geez.
I said something like, oh, science is good too.
On that note. On that note, stick with science for the time being.
Wear a mask.
Wear your mask, and we'll be in touch next week, and we'll see how the week unfolds. Okay.
Happy
Take
birthday,
care.
Rachel.
Happy birthday.